Come back and back to you, Professor Kordi, and part or a big part of the UN SDG or the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals was education. Mm-hmm. It was a big sector for quality education and ensuring the inclusive and equitable quality education
for all.
For all.
Yeah.
How far have we been working on this very particular part of the SDG goals in Egypt?
Well, the SDG for the United Nations was established in 2015.
Yes.
And it's looking up for how to sustain our better life for everyone, prosper life, better life from many perspectives: environment, human health, education, and so forth. So, and as you mentioned, education is a very big sector in it, and it's in the focus of that. Regarding how far we came into Egypt into sustaining this or fulfilling this goal, we are on track. We have lots of initiatives that is directed to fulfill this goal, and it's a good thing that our universities have also realized this kind of ranking that's being implemented, which puts a compass for our universities to direct the efforts for this kind of goal, which is a better education for everyone. That has been reflected, if you might say, in two major changes. The first one is to upgrade our curricula for the students that are in the system, and also to get some more of a university society involvement. The universities have now opened many courses for online courses for people with jobs that cannot study on a regular basis. They have opened so many specialized programs to fulfill the needs of the society. So tailored, I would say, tailored programs to fulfill the needs of the Egyptian people. So this can be considered as an opening from the universities to the society and to fulfill the needs of the society in terms of better education for everyone.
If I may speak here about this universal goal of the SDGs, and that goes in parallel with our vision of 2030 for particularly the education system. We here have been trying to ensure an equal access for boys and girls, for instance, avoiding the disparities in gender, or applying gender equality in education. We've been trying to put access for affordable vocational education, as well as eliminate the wealth disparities. I mean, here giving our students what we can call quality education that is affordable.
Affordable, yeah.
How are we doing this?
Regarding gender equality, I think it was very important to put this into focus, actually, and to speak about this issue, and to encourage people, or encourage young girls to get into so many different areas of science and technology that they might have not been interested before or being able to join before. You would say, you would notice that when the universities are trying to put forward their programs, they can actually commercialize it or actually put it forward. You can see an equal distribution of girls and boys into those programs. Definitely there might be some programs of more interests to males or than females. That's okay. It just depends on natural interest, but it shouldn't be there shouldn't be any obstacles for anyone to get into such disciplines.
That's gender equality, or how we are trying to find.
Yes, so there is nothing. And
access to education. Yes,
of course.
Please.
Access to education, as I mentioned before, now there are lots of courses being offered through online, either for free or for nominal fees. There are also tailored programs for a diploma or a certificate after graduation that lasts for like about 6 months to 1 year, which can be affordable for everyone. People who are having jobs and working on jobs and trying to, improve themselves into the ranks and get more information about a sector or field that they did not know about of before.
about the wealth disparities and how to afford or to give our children a high quality education that is affordable?
That's affordable. I would say most of the universities now implement what's called probably, it depends from one university to another. There might be a merit scholarship, there might be a financial aid system, there might be also a named scholarships. There are so many named scholarships. So investors and businessmen and companies and banks, Egyptian banks actually have been very good in supporting our students to attend those universities, by the way. There are so many national organizations, not trying to say a name on one of them, but there are so many social organizations that can actually, or they do support our students to go into those universities.
When we speak, life seems rosy.
Yeah.
But definitely there is nothing rosy as it looks like. Let me take your opinion of what really the challenges, the real challenges that we face here in upgrading our education system, and what kind of obstacles that the education system here confront, or those challenging issues that face really the education system, please.
Okay, so I would say, starting say from talking about students and their experience. When they transition from high school to college, that's a big transition. Okay, and if they get stuck on what they tried to, or the system that has been implemented in their high school, trying to relate to this into the college life, that would be difficult. College life is so much different than living in a high school environment. So I would say that's something that we need to keep into perspective, especially for first year or first comers, for first year students, how to transition them smoothly from high school life on to the college life. Also, I would say the latest implementations in terms of the high school certificates, and those changes are being implemented to actually encourage a sustainable flow of students from the high school environment to the college environment with no obstacles, and to actually prepare them to this kind of this mentality and thinking and experiencing with science. Other things could be something like transportation that has to be very well oriented or organized to deliver the students to their universities and back, which is being also taken into consideration by installing housing, on-campus housing. So that on-campus housing solves many problems for the students and saves their times and efforts that's being wasted in transportation. Yes?
Yes, please go ahead.
Finally, there is also the aspect of funds to sustain the research of professors in those universities so that they keep their students interested and they keep them involved in the new areas of science. And that has been increased dramatically through the last few years by specialized organizations, governmental organizations like Science and Technology Development Fund and the Academy for Scientific Research and Technology.
Indeed. Those are very technical challenges. But when we are speaking here about the environment of education at large, and of course there are lots of issues that the families and the children are not adapted to, and they are not really familiar with the very, very fast changes that are happening in schools or even in universities. And that sometimes really put families in jeopardy, and they are not aware what to do with their own children. Yeah. That is from one side. Also, teachers and professors who carry out those new curriculums, or what is demanded from them at this new way of education, both way, how are we dealing with our children and their families? How are we dealing with training our education system with, yes, please,
teachers
go ahead.
Well, that's a very important point, actually. I would say our young generations are very, very capable of adapting to the new technologies. They are very well with the technology, with their, especially through this pandemic year, they have been working with their laptops
Online,
and, yes,
all
online.
the time. Tell me about it.
Yes. So they are probably they're in better position than we are as their families to adapt to this kind of situation. It is really, I think it's more challenging and demanding to the families more than the students in terms of this adoption. But I think training for the professors and teachers is really also a key. And we need, I think, some link between the families and the schools and families and universities. So I think this part is still a little bit missing. We need a channel between both so that the families will be aware of what challenges are being or implemented in the universities and schools, and probably more sessions, more one-on-one sessions, even if it's online sessions or broadcasted sessions to the parents to explain to them what's the new system, how it's working, how their students are being assessed, and what kind of curricula it's being offered to their sons and daughters.
Why is it important that we are adopting new vision for education system, and why are we very much concerned with applying those new methods for education and upgrading our education system?
There is no doubt that the whole world is adapting this and has adapted to this a few years ago, and probably now we are catching up on this, and in different areas we are a little bit ahead on that. I think especially in the terms of pandemic, our schools has moved quite quickly to the online system. I think there has been a very good success story there. So it is very important to adopt the education is a very fluid system. Once the society changes and the challenges of the society grows into a different dimension, then you need a different education system to actually tackle those challenges and prepare the generations for what's coming next. Okay, that happened all the time, but probably we didn't witness it because now it's happening faster than it had been before.
This is about education. There is also this culture, this spread culture, and that needs a kind of cooperation and coordination between institutions and families and the children. There is this kind of how to integrate students into education, how to, how to give them the motive, to make them enthusiasts in the education system, because we are aware that our children are not very much into the process of learning and education, and that the online issue has put them. Of course you know what happens.
Ups and downs for it.
So how to motivate our children, how to motivate our students to grasp the not just the education, but the new education that they have to go through and accelerate with them getting used to the process.
This is a very important point that is being addressed into the process of renewing or renovating our curriculum and method of teaching, actually. So right now, the question would be, instead of teaching a young student how to multiply, say 2 by 2 to get 4, ask yourself what's the goal of this kind of lesson. So that's what's being implemented. The teacher has to ask him or herself first, what is my end goal for this? It is for the student to know how to do some mathematical operations. Now try to find ways to get to this goal. There shouldn't be just one rigid way to get to this goal. Try different methodologies. See what fits your students. See what fits your audience. Okay, so learn their needs. Learn how they think. Okay, so this is the change in mentality for education now. And this is what's being implemented in our system, in the new system that we are witnessing now, is to find out or put forward what is your end goal is for our students to be able to carry on, say, probably an elementary operations in mathematics, try to solve some chemical equations and to get to know to some kind of chemical processes. And now try to tailor a way to get to this goal, and this way should be flexible to meet the needs of your audience.
So we're speaking here about very creative and innovative ways in order to
exactly
encourage our...
Exactly, and that's the thing. Families and when the parents, when they probably look into how the lesson is being conducted, there might not be a textbook, a set textbook to get this. We might panic because we are not used to this kind of system. Okay, but well, I came into contact with this firsthand with my children as well. But I liked it so much better than the old system. Okay, so because the teacher tries to find ways and complement the lessons together. They actually introduced something called cross-curriculum. So probably in English, they might learn how to do a little bit math. And in math, they get the mathematical problem from, say, an English perspective. Okay, so this cross-curriculum or cross-cutting teaching or lessons is actually very fruitful. And it now opens their minds instead of being rigid to one system of methodology. They are not open to ask questions or actually to validate what they are being taught. So they are being asked to go online and validate this kind of concept.
All the time.
Yes.
They are being asked to go online and make research all the time. Mm-hmm. And that itself, but this is a motive? I mean, here, this is a creative way in trying to attract them to the process itself. Mm-hmm. But the motive that we give in order for them to carry out and continue on with the same enthusiasm to reach a certain goal, what kind of attracting or how are we motivating our children for this end result?
What I would say, if they lose interest and if they find the topic that's being taught is very dull and it's not interesting or it's very hard to grasp, then no matter what you do to motivate them, we're going to get them any better place. So basically, yes, of course, let's work on this issue. And hands in hand, I think probably the universities and high school or schools can, the administration should put some kind of reward system for the students, some kind of competitions for the students to get them more interested and motivated to show off their best performance.
Finally, here, if I may ask you of our topic tonight and how education is an important part of our 2030 vision for sustainable development, how education has become a must focus on a topic.
Okay, well, the job market is moving forward into more sophisticated areas. So there has been so many industrial revolutions, and we are living into an age of technology where, okay, so the most paying jobs are those most sophisticated ones, even in the old fields like in medicine and engineering. So there is a very crucial need and for a cutting-edge technology. That education that's gonna fulfill this is I think is our best option now, and is our best betting on the future for our students, is to prepare them for this cutting-edge technology and education.
Right. I guess that we really need education. It has been the focus of our leadership. It has been the focus of our government as the future.
Yes.
Is calling on us to do that and to prepare for our children. I'm sorry I asked you some questions out of the box even, but I guess that was important for our audience and the families here. Dr. Mohamed Al Kordi, Professor of Chemistry, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Dear viewers, many thanks for watching. Tomorrow would be another important debate with another colleague. Good night.